Welcome to the Bearded Dangler. We're diving deep with the real people of search and rescue, sharing stories and advice.
Okay, Pete, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Andy.
No, it's good. Welcome to the Bearded Dangler set.
You've got a really sweet setup, I have to say. Even my downstairs loo hasn't got as much promotional stuff on the wall as this.
You must have a few prints now, though.
I have. I was admiring your Stornoway one, because obviously we were there about the same time, weren't we? I've got a lot of happy memories from our time there. But yeah, collecting these, and one day, hopefully, the missus will let me put them on the wall.
They never like it, do they?
And the boys are into it.
You not got an office?
We've got just child paraphernalia everywhere. In every room of the house, you can definitely tell that there are 4 young boys in the house at home.
I think Rich was saying he's going to turn his downstairs toilet and his
a little shrine.
Yeah, sit there, lock the door.
If I was as good looking as him, I might do the same. Yeah.
So what aircrafts have you flown on then? So you've been on the 92?
Yeah. So if we wind right back, I suppose, started on the Puma, the Mark 1 Puma, in the Air Force, then the Sea King, the Mark 3, and then when I got into civvy flying, obviously I joined you on the 92, went away briefly, flew the Dauphin, then back to oil and gas, S92 again, and then the most recent one is the 139, yeah.
You got prints from all of them?
Yes, I have, yeah. Like, I've got double prints, some, because I've been out and come back and oh gosh, this guy again.
Cool. Right, let's get started then, won't we?
Let's do it.
Yeah? Okay. So Pete Wood, nickname Woody, obvious reasons. You're married to Rebecca since 2015, and you've now got 4 boys ranging from age 2 to 9.
That is correct.
Man, that's a busy life. Apart from looking after your wife and your kids, you are also a SAR co-pilot with us at OHS.
That's correct.
Flying a 139. And your interests are obviously looking after the boys, trying to get them out of the house as much as possible, into mountain biking. Recently taken up high rock, and you fancy yourself as a little bit of a master chef professional, do you?
Well, I've not killed anyone yet with my cooking. Yeah, I suppose there's quite a broad spread of interest there. I guess the big thing is just trying to stay physically fit. And as I've got older, that has probably become more of a thing, more important. Trying to chase the children. I'm thinking ahead that I want to be able to play with them when they're older as well. You know, I'm a slightly older dad. I know there are older and younger. There's no precise age, but with a 2-year-old, I'm going to be pushing 60 when he's still at home and expecting me to do stuff. So
hard, isn't it?
It is.
I was a young dad, so that was fine for me. But what are you now, 46?
I'm 46. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm lucky I haven't had any injuries for a while. This high rocks thing came along. A guy in the village said, "Do you fancy a go?" And at the moment, it's ace. You know, I'm really enjoying it. Whether I take it as seriously as them, I don't know. You were in the military. It's circuit training, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it's a new circuit training. Every few years it gets reinvented as something else.
I wish I'd invented it, because those guys must be raking it in the cost of a ticket. But there we go.
So how many competitions have you done now?
So far I've done 2.
2.
And I'll probably stop there for the year, because obviously every time I take time out of the schedule to do it, I've got to have the wife's permission, and there's the cost. So I'll
high-end work, kids, cost.
Exactly. Yeah.
All the other DIY that's needing done around the house.
And flipping out, there's plenty of that. So yeah. So
cool.
Good.
All right. So that's a little bit of your life. So you're living in Aberdeen at the moment, but your career so far, this is why we're basically doing the podcast, is to show people's windy paths of how they actually got into SAR. It's not always leave school, become a paramedic, join search and rescue. We both had completely different career paths. Rich has had a different career path. Everybody I'm going to speak to is going to be slightly different. So your path to where you are now in SAR, you've been in the back, you're now up front. So your career so far, let's read out a little bit of it, and then we can delve in a little deeper.
Yeah.
So you were in the Royal Air Force as a crewman, and you had various jobs in the RAF, and we can talk a little bit more about that, and ultimately became a winch paramedic in the RAF. You worked on search and rescue there, and then you moved to Stornoway with the UK Coast Guard, working with Bristow's, and fortunate enough to meet me before leaving and pursuing your own dream of becoming a pilot yourself.
Yeah, that was always something that I had wanted to do, and at various points thought it was, we'll probably pick away at this. It was something that I thought I wanted to do, and then thought ultimately I wasn't capable of doing it. For many years, I had to overcome a real sense of inferiority, underconfidence, and that I would be better not trying for fear of failure. That's what it was. It was fear of failure. And then ultimately getting past that. And once those sort of ideas solidified in my own head, the rest is sort of history. And
Yeah.
obviously a good dose of good luck. And obviously you need to have your health on your side.
There's good luck, but I always end up coming back to this. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, I was really fortunate. I was really lucky." It's like,
Yeah.
I was just in the right place at the right time. You weren't. You made your own luck. You made
You have
your
to make
career
it
path.
happen for yourself.
You
Yes.
have to.
Yeah.
It's like you're positioning yourself by doing everything you do in life to get to the point where that opportunity arises, and
Yes.
you just grab it. And if you don't grab it, maybe it's the next opportunity you grab.
Well, exactly. And I'm very lucky. I just said it again.
You said it.
My dad was one of my biggest heroes and my biggest supporters. And at the time, even when I was in the Air Force and I was a crewman, I called my dad and he'd say, "Oh, how are you getting on? Have you done any flying, or do you think you'll get to do any flying?" I'd say, "No, Dad, I'm not a pilot. I'm a crewman." He said, "Well, you might, if there's an opportunity, or maybe you could
never
apply
know."
again." And at the time, maybe I was frustrated, but that helped me on the journey. And if I tell you, there was a point where I thought, what, I'm going to apply again. And I called up the place where they do all the assessments. It's Cranwell. And I don't know, I might have been speaking to the cleaner. And I said, "Oh, I'm thinking of reapplying for pilot. What do you think?" She said, "Well, hang on a minute. I'll just look up your records." And a moment later, she said, these were the words, because I never forget it. She said, "If I were you, I wouldn't bother applying, because with scores like that, you're probably lucky to have the job that you have." And I put the phone down. I never felt so low. Gosh. And that just killed it. Well, if she said that,
Yeah.
who am I to argue?
And when you're in the forces, you take it as gospel, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
people's opinions, like,
Yeah.
that's it.
So
Like,
what
they've
she
got my
said,
career in my hand.
"It is dead. Move on." And only later on, I thought, why did I do that? I didn't know who she was. What was her opinion to anything else? And it just took a time. And then back to my father reinforcing, well, if the Air Force won't let you become a pilot, there are other avenues, like paying for yourself. And that was another light bulb moment. And it helped that I was getting to a point in my life where I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm going to run out of time. I felt like really the door was closing.
Yeah.
And I knew, having had other regrets, if you like, that I would have to live with that my entire life if I didn't try. So it was like last shot. And that was the game changer then.
Yeah.
Realizing that I could do it through another avenue.
It's good when you come to that realization.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then also seeing the financial side of it. And I may or may not have a reputation at work for being, shall we say, tight. I don't economic with my cash.
Yeah.
But flying is just a whole new level of costs.
Yeah.
I will walk an extra 5 miles to save pennies at the shops, but flying, I think, £500 here for an hour's flight. But after that first flight, I was so hooked, and I'd spent £500.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I can't go back now.
I'm 500 quid in.
I'm 500 quid in, not knowing that the end of the journey would look more like a 6-figure sum. But hey,
Oh man. Okay. So lots of flying exposure and experience in the RAF and the Coast Guard, and then going on to your PPL stuff, and ultimately you've done a few jobs within aviation with
Yes.
the commercial side of it, but you're now back in Aberdeen, close to home,
Yes.
with OHS as a SAR pilot this time, working with the likes of me.
Yes. I mean, what's not
Okay.
to like
What's
there?
not? That's it.
That is having your cake and eating it, I think.
Yeah. So, what's Pete's story then? Like, you've given us little glimmers there, but like, tell us, like, where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
How did you get to be sitting at this table today? Like, what's your story, Pete?
Good question. Leicester, born in Leicester, parents from the south of England and the north of England came together in Leicester. That was me. My father's background, a lot of aviation history there. Although he was a policeman, he always wanted to be in the Air Force. He wasn't successfully getting into the Air Force, but he was successful in later life with a PPL.
Okay.
And his father, he was a pilot as well. He was actually a test pilot in the Air Force. So grew up with a lot of noise, if you like, about aviation. My mother's grandfather, he was a pilot, so it was a real hotbed of sort of flying in the family. So I suppose I just grew up with that. It must have affected me because at the time, if I didn't realize it, I really enjoyed going out with my father. He took me flying at the local club. One of the highlights was a Christmas event called flower bombing. I had a little Cessna. You took two, I don't think health and safety would allow it now, throwing things from an airplane, kilo bags of flour, with a target in the middle of the airfield. And I went up with him. I wasn't even tall enough to see out the window,
Yeah.
but I dropped it. We did 2 passes and thought, oh, that was a bit of fun. And we went home. And a couple of days later, got a phone call to find out we'd actually won. But we weren't there for the.
That would definitely not happen now.
No.
No.
And I think it put a
Was
few.
it the sliding canopy on the chipmunk? Oh, it was a Cessna.
Cessna, so it was
not a
just an
chipmunk.
open window. And just, what could go wrong with that? So that was a bit of fun.
Did you ever do any chipmunk flying or bulldogs or anything like
With
that?
the air cadets.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a stomach for it.
No.
I think most of the other cadets wanted to do aerobatics, and I'd say just keep it straight and level if you can. So it's probably a bit boring. So there was the cadets, there was my dad's PPL, and I was in and out of it. What do I want to do? And I just remember two events after school. I worked on a sail training boat. They got lots of different groups every week to take them out, inner city kids and this sort of thing, or church groups. And we were out on the East Coast, and they said, right, today we're actually getting a helicopter from Wattisham. It's going to come out and do some training with us. So there were some instructions, like go on a set course, set the sails, in such a way. And I just remember this helicopter having loads of noise, loads of downwash, and just think, that's cool. And then the winchman came down onto the deck, had his little radio, had a cup of tea with everybody, and then called, the helicopter came back, and off he went. And I got a few snaps. And that was moment number one. And then
Yeah, that was like, oh.
that was cool. And then at university, I was in North Wales, Bangor University. I was walking down the street, final year, thinking, what am I going to do? I just remember very vividly a Sea King coming out of the hills, coming out of the mountains, and going back to Anglesey, back to base, and just sort of standing stock still and going, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't care what job it is in there,
Yeah.
in that helicopter. My
I'm doing that.
attack is that direction. Yeah, I'm doing that. And from that point on, joined the Air Force, got in as a air load master, but knew from sort of reading up that a winchman was an air load master,
Yeah.
and that you could that there was a route there. So I was like, right, that's the direction of
What
travel.
did you do at uni?
So I did a geology-based degree, which is of absolutely zero use to my current job, but it was very, very, I have to say, it was one of the best periods of my life. I met some fantastic people. If I had my time again, I'd have probably worked harder on the geology side. I think I majored, as the Americans might say, in the social side of things.
Okay.
I had a fantastic time. Don't ask me too many questions.
Being at university, it builds your character. It's building that ability to study, isn't it? Like taking the information, and you've had to use that later in life. It's maybe you're not using your actual degree, but it's
The
all those other
application of
skills that you
your
pick up.
knowledge and learning. Yeah, you're 100% correct. And it allowed me a bit of time to mature social skills, etc., etc. So
Maybe learn how to drink properly.
yeah, which I still I need remedial on that actually.
Before joining the RAF and then getting taught how to drink. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So joined RAF.
Yeah, so 2003, I turn up as sort of a spotty faced cadet at Cranwell, go through the basic training, which probably is designed to catch everybody by surprise and put you through the ringer, break you down and build you back up again.
And you got taken as an air loadie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So direct entry. If you pass the course, direct entry sergeant, which obviously to everyone else in the Air Force, obviously they had an opinion on that because you'd come straight in, and to be a sergeant any other way took years.
Yeah.
But that aside, so that was what was at play if you passed that.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I did, and at that point you get streamed rotary. When I joined, you had the choice: you rotary or fixed wing, so you end up in the back of a Hercules or whatever. I knew I wanted to be in helicopters, so at that point I could pick.
Yeah.
And all the time I was saying, search and rescue, no chance. You got no chance at all, Pete. So flying training at Shawbury, and that's where you do all the rotary stuff in basically a Huey with 4 blades. So it's a 412. We called it a Griffin. That was a lot of fun. Absolutely clueless flying around the UK, not really knowing. Being told by my instructor that I couldn't count backwards properly from 40 when I was doing my voice marshalling. But a lot of
saying
fun.
Numbers you're not allowed to say.
Yeah, exactly. 9, 13,
It's
something
like,
like
why?
that.
Yeah.
But it looks like 9 yards, or 9 meters. And then by the end, I'd obviously this psychological campaign of telling everybody that I was going to go to search and rescue might have worked, because at the end they said, Pete, such and such has got a SAR course. He needs somebody else to go with them. So you're in. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely made up.
You made your own luck.
Made my own luck. I made it happen. Like, this could really work out. So I went to Anglesey, SAR 2, the search and rescue training unit.
Yeah.
And I was there for about 4 weeks. Just had an ace time again. AD Brind was my running mate, and we had a fantastic time. If we weren't flying, we were out walking in the hills, just got on famously, and got to the end of the course. And he said, Pete, or Woody, well done. You've got to the end of this. With your experience, I think you've done well to pass the course. And we're going to put you forward and recommend you for search and rescue. I was absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't happening, really?
But then we have to say, I was naive, because when we left Shawbury, we had a bit of time before we were going to our respective units. And the squadron boss had said, look, I'll give you my telephone number. If anything happens over the next few weeks, big or small, let me know and I can help you out. And so I got to the end of this course and I thought, he needs to know that I've passed the course. So that's exactly what I did. But in that moment of madness, it may have been a bit too personal. The content or too many expletives in the message. And when I returned to Shawbury, I was immediately called into his office for an interview with no biscuits. And all of a sudden, I wasn't going to search and rescue.
Oh, my God.
And I was sent to the support helicopters, to the Pumas. And that detour was about 6 years. At the time, I was absolutely crushed.
Yeah, he must have been.
Absolutely crushed. But there was only one person that could be blamed for that. Other people might have thought quicker on their feet and said, I was meant to be messaging something, but it got me absolutely square.
Yeah.
Fair and square.
That was there, done. Yeah.
But, at the time it was a really acute sense of pain. But looking back, it was just character building. It was just another opportunity to learn. And I had some fantastic opportunities.
And how old were you at that point?
To follow. So I would have been about 24 at the time.
Right. So still quite young.
Yeah.
Strong-willed. You're in the
Exactly.
armed forces. It's that sort of, that character, aren't you, at that point in time? So,
But I think it built a level of resilience, and it got me to experience, support helicopters frontline. At the time that I hit the Puma Force, they were super busy. I was straight out to Morocco for a desert qualification, hot and high, they called it, training. Straight off that, straight out to Norway to do Arctic training. Straight out to Iraq to fly around Baghdad. Real eye-opening stuff.
you wouldn't got any of that in
No.
SAR.
No, and the people that were doing that and the experiences that I had, friends for life. So it's only looking through the retrospectoscope, if you like,
Yeah.
that you can see these things as what they are. They're probably opportunities.
Yeah, it's built all those other skill sets that you've now gained from being in support helicopters, being in all these different areas of operation, to bring that back into SAR
Yes.
later on. But
Exactly.
hopefully you do get back into SAR. Like we're going to come back
We'll
to
get
that
to that.
story.
Yeah.
That experience will help you so much in every single job that you're going out to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that has happened, that whether it be in slightly different circumstances, that has happened over and over again. And you only see it later on.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
resilience,
Yeah.
character building. Yeah.
Yeah. It's only years later you sit back and look at yourself when you think others have been looking at you thinking, what an idiot, what's he
Yeah.
doing? What career path is he going down? In hindsight, it was the right way.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Or our way.
Yes.
It's where you are. So support helicopters then.
So 2 tours with the Pumas, 33 Squadron at RF Benson in Oxfordshire, then 230 Squadron in Northern Ireland, Aldergrove, both fantastic places. But when Aldergrove disbanded, or Pumas left Northern Ireland, should I say, and they flew back to be based together in Oxfordshire, I got my second opportunity to go try for search and rescue. And that, thankfully, went the way I hoped it would, because I didn't have a plan B at that point.
Were you picked or did you apply? How did you get that second opportunity?
Probably they gave me that opportunity because I wouldn't leave them alone. Oh my goodness, this guy. If we don't give him this course, let's give him the course, and then we can at least keep him quiet.
Did AD get in the first time?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Like he didn't tell them, like, no, don't take this guy.
Yeah, thankfully, yeah, not that I heard anyway.
There were some people putting in some good words for you, obviously,
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
So I got my opportunity to go back to Valley, to Anglesey, North Wales, and partnered up with a guy I'd never met before, who'd come from the back of an Nimrod based at Kinloss in Morayshire. Have I got that correct? Morayshire.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we'd never seen each other before, but very quickly, maybe it's the way the course is designed, or the fact that we were both so heavily invested in this being our future, that we came together. So right, the best chance to get through this is to work as a team.
Yeah.
And we became the best of friends. We'd been ushers at each other's weddings, and 15 years later, we're still
That's great, isn't it?
best pals.
That
Yeah.
camaraderie you
Yeah.
built. So was he applying as a winchman as well?
We were both going for whatever we could get.
Okay.
We both wanted to be a winchman as it goes. In the end, he became a winch operator and I became a winchman. I think they got us to play at our best skills. He had a phenomenal mind for the aimmanship side of things and the winch operating, and I think they got me right with the medical and the winch.
Built on a rope.
Exactly. Keep
Perfect.
it straight. I keep it straighter than ever.
We're very good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're now in North Wales?
So we're now in North Wales. We're hooning around again.
Some great flying around there.
Yeah, sort of swinging in and out of gullies, being inside of the helicopter and then not inside of the helicopter, but just having a hoot, getting some absolute crushing debriefs. Like just being like, okay, is that a pass? Right, we'll go again tomorrow and we'll
I've
try
still
and
got
do
my job.
better.
Perfect, I'm here.
Yeah, and going round there, sitting in the bar and voice marshalling a pint around the table, or a Lego man dangling on some string, till we got it, And I'm sure if we didn't have each other, it would have been a different outcome.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
very fond memories of that time, actually. Yeah.
It's stressful though, isn't it? It's like it's a change in your career path. All right, you're still in the RAF. You're probably secure enough that
Yeah.
you've got something to fall back up on. But It's like that's what you want to do. You want to be in stars. You don't want to muck
But I
it up.
didn't want that to go a second time.
No.
But think about this. I had a 6-7 year background in helicopters. I felt at home in the back of a helicopter. This poor guy, John, on the back of a Nimrod, everything was different, from the way he strapped into the aircraft to the way he talked to the pilots. The whole environment for him was new. And I think, in hindsight, I got even more respect for him because he was learning 2 times more, double what I was having to learn. But again, that's kudos to him that he got through it.
Yeah, it's a heavy workload, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
you're in a hovering helicopter and everybody's got a voice and everybody's speaking and
Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
And
I
then
think
you're in the
back to,
mountains.
I know, the first trip 1, putting a helmet on, I felt like my brain had just sort of oozed out of my ear, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good
It's
fun
a
though.
steep learning
Steep
curve.
learning curve, but we made it through, and that's when we bombed to our different locations. I went off to the northeast to Bulmer, and he went down to I think down further down the east coast. I forget Wattisham, but we kept in touch. Obviously, we're still in touch now. But I'd not been at Bulmer for more than a couple of days, and welcome to the flight, and you get a bit of a tour of the area, don't you? Sites and the popular spots. These are the hot spots. These are the hospitals. And so I was given the opportunity to go and shadow one of the senior winchmen.
Uh-huh.
And we're on shift, and the bell goes. Very exciting. Like, right, Woody, you come along. You can bring the med bag and follow me. And we were going to a rig, as it goes, to a chap that had lost a finger. And so I'm very excited. I've been to an oil rig before, and it was very much like, you just follow me. Whatever I do, you do. So winch down onto this deck, following the guy, and sure enough, he's lost a finger. But the medical officer on the deck has put the finger in a bag with some frozen peas. So the paramedic, winchman, takes that, passes it straight to me, says, Woody, take care of that. So that was quite a moment of like, oh, okay, someone else's finger. I'll put that in my pocket. I'll look after that. Carried on. Everything was just like coming 100 miles an hour, trying to take it all in. But the guy gets on board, and we fly him to hospital, hand over the patient to the waiting doctors. Great. I think that was a success. Flew back to base, getting changed. Still had the finger in my pocket, didn't I? What am I going to do with this? I'm like, well, is there any point taking to him now? Because it was like hours now since.
Probably not.
Yeah. So poor guy. Easy to find, actually. Get him to hold his hand up. What's the problem with you? Can you put your finger on it? No, you probably can't.
It couldn't dial a telephone to get a hold of you.
No, exactly. Couldn't poke me in the eye either.
Yeah. So, but that went down well in the unit.
Well, I was reminded, there was a guy I work with here now in Aberdeen that used to be an engineer at Bulmer. And when I saw him for the first time, that was the story he told me straight away. They'd never forgotten it. And he tells all his friends about this winchman that had a finger stuffed in his pocket. So that was, yeah. The Bulmer was great. It was a fantastic area to fly around. We had access to the Lake District, all of the East Coast, or the beaches around the East Coast. But if we did get called to the hills, it'd take quite a long time.
Yeah.
So, you take off, right, we'll go to the Lake District, 45 minutes to get there. So in that time, maybe get a radio update of what the casualties condition is, what is it, and maybe have a little read of my medical guide, decide what I'm going to wear.
Yeah. There's plenty of time sometimes.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
So that's how I did it. Try and stay calm and watch the pros. They didn't get flustered. Changed that though. Changed base. You see, went back to North Wales. That's always where I wanted to be. A proper mountain base.
That was always the goal in SAR, isn't it? It's like the proper jobs.
Yeah. So I managed to get a posting there, and then get the first job, of course, in the mountains. But there's Pete. Doesn't want to get too excited about the job. Right, what is the job? Well, whatever it is, Pete, we're going to be there in 2 minutes. So
So crack on.
So yeah, bit of a readjustment to timings and kit management and everything else, because it was a busier base and everything was so much nearer. But so exciting, that was where I really felt like the Winchman job really started to gel, fit. I felt like I knew what I was doing and felt confident in my abilities to do it. That sense that the next call is going to be something that I don't know what to do.
It feels more time pressured when you're in those scenarios. It's like when everything's just that little bit closer, you're just like,
Exactly.
right, okay, like I need to know my stuff here. I need to be on it.
And some confidence. I will know what to do. I will be able to manage it.
Or making a decision and following through in that decision, even if it's wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold it with confidence.
Yeah. Hand them over and get out of there real quick.
Yeah. So were you a paramedic at that point?
So I got my paramedic qualification while I was in North Wales. So
Right.
I was doing the studying at the same time as doing the job.
And then was that through SAR2 or how did you do your paramedic course?
Yeah, so ORMS,
Yeah.
outreach medical skills, so it was done almost like a degree course, modular degree course, so lots of essay writing. But what happened in the end was I was doing all my paramedic bits and pieces, and just as that came to an end, I was starting to do the flying training. So I was already in a sort of a learning sort of frame of mind. My girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, will have a different memory of me inviting her to North Wales to say, come, we'll have a great time, we'll do loads of cool things in North Wales, climbing and everything else. And her memory is of me studying for my paramedicine qualification and then going straight into studying for flying exams.
Yeah.
That was probably...
How did you find the paramedic course? That wasn't really your chosen career path, was it, to become a paramedic? And did you have to be a paramedic?
I think that was the expectation.
Right.
And prior to becoming a paramedic, that when I knew that I wanted to become a winchman, when I thought that being a pilot wasn't going to be an option to me, then becoming a paramedic was very much the target.
Okay.
But what was interesting was that when I became a paramedic, it didn't rest on my shoulders as comfortably as some of those that I see around me that just seem to ooze confidence and embody the role of a paramedic. I found it tricky. Like I say, in North Wales, when we were busy, that's where I felt my most comfortable. But when I went then on to, when I left the Air Force and went to Stornoway, where the rate of jobs was much lower
and
different, and the size of the jobs potentially much bigger, I really felt anxious. The anxiety levels did certainly go up then.
I'm still waiting to be found out as a paramedic. I do not ooze confidence as a paramedic. I know my stuff well enough, but I have never classified myself as an exceedingly good paramedic.
Because I would say, looking at you, that you are that guy. So that looks confident and is very professional. So isn't it interesting?
That little duck.
Yeah. the duck or the swan outwardly to everybody else. Yeah. Versus what's going on inside.
I think it's like what we've been saying all the way along. It's all your learned experiences over time. You can pull upon those jobs you've done and the knowledge that you've gained, or seeing people do other skills or what they've picked up off of a patient. And I think that's where my paramedicine skills lie. It's not mainly in the deep knowledge of medicine, which a lot of paramedics are more comfortable
take a deep dive, don't they? Yes, yeah.
But I like to look at paramedicine more as how can I assist somebody straight away and stop them from getting any worse.
Yes.
And if it's not on my bag of tricks, it doesn't get used. So I don't really think about anything that's outside of that.
Yeah. No, very good.
So
I actually did some flying training in Norway, and I was partnered up with a German guy who was doing his instrument rating as it was, but he was a paramedic in Germany.
Okay.
And he was an instructor, and he said that he would ask his students what's the most important fluid in an ambulance, and they'd all be guessing, and he'd say diesel. Get as quickly as you can. That so that getting super complex isn't always the answer, is it?
That's always a difficult thing in SAR, isn't it? It's like it's that balance between you've got a helicopter hovering above you, you've got time pressure on scene, you've got a casualty that's needing either medical treatment or trauma treatment and get into a hospital.
Yes.
Do you stay in play or do you lift and go?
Yeah.
It's always a 50-50 question of what you've got to do.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
it's not an easy decision a
And
lot
the
of the time.
fact that probably most of the time when you're making that decision, it's you on your own to make it.
Yeah.
It's not like a committee.
No. And kudos to you. It's like you've been a paramedic, and from day one, you've been the paramedic on your own. You've not done the ambulance shifts. You've not done like rapid response cars and working with lots of different people and 10-minute drive to a hospital with loads and loads of backup. So it's been on you from day one. So,
Well, if it was a nice, big, juicy, broken leg, I'm quite happy. Anything that was more internal, unseen, if you like, non-trauma,
yeah.
that's where I'd get full-scale panic. Whereas the person that's been in the ambulance would be a lot more comfortable in that scenario, I would
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah. And I think that's a difficult transition that some paramedics who have been on a road ambulance maybe for 5, 6, 7 years, who then want to get into search and rescue, how they find that difficult, that they are the point of call and they're the decision maker, and you don't have that backup. You've got to make that decision.
Yeah, 100%.
Being a paramedic, it's not easy, and definitely not easy being in the SAR.
Well, I thought that moving away and moving into the front seat might alleviate some of that anxiety. And if somebody was asking, why did you swap seats? Then I would say my joke answer would be because I wanted to see how comfortable the seats in the front were. And it turns out they're just as uncomfortable. But no, there was an element of truth in the idea that this anxiety that I had with the paramedicine might go away becoming a pilot. But it hasn't.
No.
I think that's probably either my natural state or just a professional state of mind, this continual urge to keep learning, to keep improving and not sitting on your laurels.
Yeah.
So good and bad that it hasn't gone away. It's just changed.
Just changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably always stays with us.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It keeps you sharp.
Does.
That's my thought about it at the moment, that it keeps you motivated, keep you sharp.
Yeah. Question yourself.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Probably when you don't question yourself, we're going to hopefully not end up in the drink.
Well, if I'm doing my job properly, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So, decided to leave the RAF, or
I was on a 12-year terms of service.
Okay.
And at the time, because of the job I was doing, because search and rescue was being disbanded from the military, the only option available was going back to support helicopters. And at that point, things were getting serious with my then girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I got an idea that would be going in a direction of travel that I didn't want. I still wanted to pursue search and rescue.
Yeah.
I'd got the pilot's license by then, and I could see a roadmap towards flying, and therefore staying in the Air Force wasn't going to support that ambition. So very lucky. The then provider of UK search and rescue was Bristow, and they came round with a roadshow to every UK military SAR base.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting through that and thinking, wow, these guys, this is a good setup. I would like to get into this.
Yeah.
And they offered an interview to anybody that was interested. So fantastic. Sat down, applied, and said those immortal words, I'll go anywhere. I love a job. I'll go anywhere. At which point,
from Northwood,
you went. Still remind me where that is? Yeah. So that was super exciting, super happy to get a job. It wasn't flying in the front per se, but it was with an organization that looked like they would facilitate a move from inside the organization. Better to apply from within.
Yeah.
Get the job in the first place. So we just got married, moved straight to the Isle of Lewis, and it was like a boatload of people going at the same time. Nearly half the base changed at that point. Yeah. So it's a really happy vibe at the unit. Lots of new faces, lots of people keen, lots of barbecues, socializing, and this new life that had started. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And that's where we met.
And that's where we met, Andy.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say, for the record, it's also where I've had probably my most terrifying flying experiences.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of the terrain, isn't it? It made North Wales look like a bit of a holiday park, to be honest.
I don't think people realise what the flying's like until you fly up in
Yeah.
that northwest part of Scotland. Like, you think the Lake Districts are hard, but that west coast,
The other
it's nails.
thing that was interesting at the time of arriving, MVGs weren't currently being used on the unit.
Don't remember.
And
Scary times.
that was interesting. Happily, though, for us, they came within a couple of months.
What, was it a couple of months? Were we not? I was maybe a little bit longer than you then, so I was up there before you
I think
came.
you probably were.
So I think it
yeah.
was almost like a year and a half, 2 years we did up there with
Was it?
no MVGs flying around Skye and Torridon,
Yeah.
midnight, back of balls, no goggles on. You're like, and then the day we got the goggles,
Yeah.
put them down, you're like, what have we been doing for the past 2 years?
I know.
My God.
And it's only just come into my mind since you mentioned the Coolins and Skye, and flying to look for some walkers that had gone off the Coolin Ridge Walk. I think they were students, let's say. And always the phone rings just before dark, doesn't it?
Always.
Even if they've been up there all day. Yeah, make the call. This will make them happy.
It's either going to get dark or start snowing.
Yeah, exactly. So off we go, and we find these climbers, and they're in or walkers, and they're in a really precarious spot. And we get to the hover position. I think Rob Glendinning is the winch operator, and get lowered down. The downwash from the aircraft is blowing rucksacks and roll mats everywhere, and some of these students are running after them. This is an absolute horror show. I remember winching down with nothing except a couple of strops because I thought I couldn't take anything else. I could hear the pilot over the Polycon radio saying that the NR is starting to reduce because obviously there's a great big load of downwash. So the NR is reducing. I hit the ground. It's so steep. Rob described the scene as like a terrified cat. As all I could do was sort of spread eagle myself on the slope.
Stop yourself falling down the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't going to them. They were definitely coming to me. Just a different place entirely.
It's an extreme environment up the top of those Coolins, isn't it? It's like, you're at what, 3,500 feet, I think the ridge is, and then you scree gullies going down 300-400 meters.
Angry looking terrain, isn't it? And the weather is always atrocious. So
Compass doesn't work at the top, it's just spinning around. Yeah.
Hats off, like Middle Earth, hats off to anybody that's flying around there. But I've thoroughly enjoyed my time there, I must admit.
But like you said, the jobs are different there. You could get, we had long transits, relatively speaking, to get into Skye and to Torridon. But when you were there, the jobs were either really big trauma or missing hill walkers with flip-flops.
And you know how sometimes you would rescue someone or you pick someone up and you think, have I really helped them or have I just convenienced their day, help them? One day we were called to the middle of nowhere and it was a father and son, and the son had done really well. He'd managed to get some phone signal and call in for some help. Nearest road, miles away, chance of an ambulance, hours away, mountain rescue, hours away. And we picked him up and it was obvious that he was in trouble. In his 50s, let's say, typical or stereotypical dad who's taking his foot off the gas, but his son wants to go for a walk. So he says, right, so we'll do the walk that I did, years ago.
Yeah, when I was 25.
Barn door heart attack, ongoing, grey, looked really upset. Just him and his son, we hoiked them up, took them to Inverness in about half an hour. He was on the table getting a stent. I was there to see it, and happy result, still alive. And I thought, you know what? If it wasn't for us on that day, if it wasn't maybe someone else, but if we weren't there, that situation would have been very different. And that little boy wouldn't have had his dad. So those are the kind of things that you remember. And you think, did make a difference on that day.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do make a difference. Even for those people that are just stuck in a precarious position, caught out by the weather, as a normal walker, the flip-flop walkers or whatever they are, you are absolutely making their day and making their life better. And it's like, you are definitely making those changes. And people say to me, it's like, do you not get annoyed at the people that just get lost hill walking? And it's like, it's ridiculous that they call 999 for that. And you're like, I don't get upset at it, because the normal person walking down Union Street in Aberdeen who calls an ambulance, who's having those injuries, it just happens in a different place. And it's just unfortunate. And that's why we're there. And that's why the service is there.
I agree. Obviously, there are occasions where a little bit of preparation can be helpful. For instance,
Might
the
have changed the
flip-flop.
situation.
Yeah. But most often, do you know what I found? I found that sensible people have tried to do sensible things and come unstuck.
Yeah.
And I found, hey, I've done that. And it's down to chance or circumstance that it happened to them and it hasn't happened to me. And that's probably the way I approach most of the things nowadays.
And I'm quite happy that somebody's giving it a go to go hill walking and get out into the fresh air and do something rather than just walk down the street and go to McDonald's for the day. Yeah. So why not? Yeah. But we had some other good times in Stornoway as well, didn't we not? It was like camping trips on the west coast or out on kayaks and out on boats.
I mean, it's just an outdoor person's dream, that part of the world.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, is it? If you like the city lights and your high street shops, you're not going to. But I don't know, there's that many people in our walk of life. I might be wrong, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But that was only lasted, I think, 18 months I was in Stornoway, because the idea of getting a pilot's job, it just seemed like it wasn't getting any closer. And again, that ticking clock, that sense in my head, how much time have I got here to do this, meant that I was, all over the internet looking for anything that was available. LinkedIn was my go-to for anybody that I could get in touch with, and obviously links to people I used to know in the Air Force. And one of the chaps was down at Leeds Bradford. He was flying for a charter company, and I hit him up. I said, "Hi, John. How are things? Are there any jobs going?" Same. I'd sent thousands of these emails at this point.
Why not?
So I'd said, I'd almost send him on autopilot, and he came back and said, "Hey, Pete, nice to hear from you. We are looking for co-pilots, and your CV would probably be perfect."
Wow.
So that was a dream.
Yeah.
It meant I had to leave the Coast Guard, but it meant I got a foot in the door. And hopefully, my hope was that I'd leave on good terms, such that I might be able to come back. So there we're back. So we're on the ferry from Stornoway down to Leeds. Massive difference.
Yeah.
I had some advice from a guy, Mike McMullen. He said, "Pete, when you get in that Dauphin, you'll arrive everywhere too fast. You'll probably be thinking about what you'll be about 2-3 minutes behind the aircraft if you're lucky." He was absolutely on the money. If I'd been left on my own, I think I'd have been dead within a week. Thankfully, I was flying with somebody else. But I'd never given charter a thought.
Yeah.
But here I was, getting airborne from Leeds at 6 a.m, flying to Manchester to pick somebody up from the garden. And I was in the middle of London at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, walking into town for a bacon butty, thinking, this is incredible.
What is my life?
Yeah.
I was in
How did this
Stornoway
happen?
6 months
I
ago.
know,
Like,
I
what the
know.
hell?
So I thought that was fantastic. But the reality was I had a license, but very little experience. They needed qualified pilots captains that could fly on their own. I wasn't nearly ready for that. So within 11 months, I was out the door. And that was tough. That was probably, in terms of highs and lows, that was a crushing low. Because if you think, I just thought everything had come my way. But in all fairness, in reality, it was like going to Silverstone for the Grand Prix with a driving license, freshly stamped, and saying, "Could I get a drive?" Just because I had a license didn't mean I knew what I was doing.
Hindsight again. It's like, but
so that we couldn't stay in the accommodation that we were in because we couldn't afford it. So Rebecca packed off to her mum and dad. We've got a little boy at that point. Waved them off, and I'm sat in the garage on a stool, like, what am I going to do now? Yeah. Literally what I'm going to do. I called up the Coast Guard to say, could I have my old job back? No, because someone had taken that.
Sorry.
And, I thought, I couldn't see a way
what
out.
have I done in my life?
And again, looking back, character building, resilience, and I was only out of work for 3 weeks. But that 3 weeks was tough.
A long 3 weeks.
I can sympathise with anybody that's unemployed or trying to get work and is unemployed, because it is dark times. But I just set to work applying for various jobs, and like most things, there's nothing and then there's everything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I wasn't beating them off with a stick, but options were coming in.
Yeah, choices.
And when I got the opportunity to come back to Aberdeen, I thought, great, that is probably the best option, because then there's an avenue, same operator, back into the Coast Guard.
Yeah, you knew the company.
Exactly. And if I said that when I was on charter, I was logging maybe 20, 30 minutes a month, that was 800 hours a year in my first year.
Yeah.
It was crazy flying.
Yeah.
But that's what I needed for my experience, just out and back to the oil rigs. And I loved it. Again,
So you're back flying with Bristow's, oil and gas, co-pilot, out of Aberdeen.
Just out of Aberdeen, again, paired up. This is how it works. Going in the training system, paired up with a guy on the street we'd have never been friends, but forced into that environment, but became the best of friends.
Yeah.
And this new concept, well, it wasn't a new concept. CRM, we all know about it. But as a pilot, that was a very different ball game for me. A lot of multi-crew and multi-pilot operations. And I remember one particular day we were trying to do a flight, and we were just doing our own thing, but we were doing it and we were just shouting at each other louder and louder. Everyone was talking and not listening. And we both heard the instructor who just shouted, "Stop. What are you guys doing?" It's like the cockpit has just peeled in two. And we're just laughing in hysterics, but, working away at it, and then hitting the line and bouncing out to the rigs and back. And you think, how many variables are there?
Yeah.
When you're leaving the same airport and going to a number of rigs, every day was different.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect. And I was drawing on every bit of experience that I had previously. But I learned about complex helicopter types, obviously the S-92 from the cockpit, instrument procedures, and everything. It was a really good grounding in pilot training.
Yeah, you've got that commercial pressure for the oil and gas companies to get those guys out there from the operator themselves. And you fly into some really hostile environments. Those oil rigs, everybody thinks, we're just going to go and fly out and land on an oil rig. Yeah. It's not that easy.
It's not. And the weather in the North Sea, as you know, can be pretty grotty.
Yeah. Changeable.
And we were flying back to Aberdeen one day and we checked the weather. The weather appeared suitable for a VFR recovery to Aberdeen. So I thought, right, that's what we'll do. But as we were getting back, it was getting quite busy. We tend to go out at the same time. All the operators tend to go out and come back at the same time. Yeah. So everyone's coming back. And the weather's not quite as good as we thought it was going to be. Right, okay. Hair's starting to tingle.
Sitting up in your seat.
Exactly, right, shuffling around. And the controller says, "Can you see the radar head?" No, can't see the radar head. Oh, crumbs, because that's not very far from the field. Okay, continue. I wasn't flying. I'm looking out the window with eyes on stalks. The guy next to me is flying. Next thing, we see the radar head. We call that we're visual. He said, "Right, take up an orbit there." And the guy's racked it over. The weather is socked right in. Oh. And I feel so uncomfortable. This is worse than SAR weather. But at least with SAR weather, you're expecting it, let's say, you plan for it, you train for it.
You've got other things you can use. You can land in different areas. Yeah.
Knowing that we don't have really that much fuel, that we are a crew change helicopter that shouldn't really be low level. There's wires and all sorts of obstructions around this airfield, and there's no other aircraft all coming in at the same time. And I'm looking, and obviously we're trained to take control, but I didn't think in the first month it would happen. And the next thing, the guys, the speed's dropping off, the height's reducing, the angle of bank's increasing, the autopilot kicks out. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But thankfully, took control, went up like a cork out of a bottle. And I think air traffic control must have picked this up, because they immediately started giving instructions, and it was a happy ending. But that was another tap on, if you needed a tap on the shoulder, avoid complacency. That was just, that was month one.
How did that go afterwards in debrief?
Well,
should we just leave that there?
I maybe, damned by faint praise, but the chief pilot congratulated me at the end of, there was a formal interview process, but he said, "Well done." But he said, when I first heard what had happened, I was mad because I thought it was you. I'll take that,
Know your level.
Exactly. Yeah, so if he said that, that's fine by me.
So how long did you do crew change for?
So crew change was about 3 years.
On the 92?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I'd started thinking it was an avenue to something else, I'd got to a stage where if that had continued and that was the job that I was doing, I was quite content. But I always had an eye on getting across to search and rescue. And when that opportunity finally came, there was an offer of a posting. I jumped on it and was given the opportunity to go to Sunborough. At that time,
Another remote island for you.
I was very
They must like
careful.
you.
I thought I didn't say that time, I'll go anywhere. But
But it must have slipped out.
maybe, yeah. Or
Maybe
they
it was
looked
like,
at
I'll go anywhere apart from Stornoway.
Yes. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, the guy loves a ferry ride. Yeah, let's get him up. So, at that point, we had 3 children and we'd got one. Joseph was only a baby. So it was a difficult decision to make. Like, I really want,
Yeah.
this was a new dimension, if you like. Up till then, or just before then, it was what does Pete Wood want to do? But now it was like, what does the family want? What's best for the family?
What's best for the family? Because it's
So-
not a promotion, isn't it? You're still a co-pilot. You're just flying in a different environment, same aircraft type, different jobs, but
Exactly.
it's the little offshoot for your career.
It was, here's the thing you've always wanted, offset against, here's the family that you've always wanted, what's best for them, and how to manage the two. And we elected to stay in Aberdeen and commute, for me to commute. So obviously I'm not in Shetland anymore, 3 years later, mixed emotions about the whole experience.
Yeah.
Obviously very pleased that I got the opportunity, met some great people, some great flying, and it almost certainly helped me get the job that I've got now. But the damage that it potentially could do to the family, and I wouldn't say it lightly, but mental health.
Yeah.
Constantly being away from home, missing the children, and hearing the children saying they miss you, it's tough.
It's tough.
So anybody that's doing that, respect. But
I don't think you're the only one, though. It's like everybody that I have known that has worked in the islands, that does any sort of commuting, where your family support group isn't around you.
Yes.
It's a difficult place to be. And like I've always said, as soon as you go away, what happens? Everything goes wrong.
Yes. We had broken legs. Hospital. I mean, we've got VIP access to the Royal Infirmary. Let me tell you. But yeah, exactly as you described it, the boiler will break, the car will something will happen to the children, and you're away.
Yeah.
Rebecca will be struggling on her own with the children, and I'm sat on FaceTime thinking, all I want to do is help you, but I'm stuck. Some days you couldn't even leave if you wanted to because the flights weren't going or the ferry was cancelled.
And that's if the internet's working as well.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Of the island. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like it's a really difficult strain on relationships and the added pressure on your job that you're doing at that time as well. Because you're doing 24-hour shifts. It's a high workload. You've got that pressure, you're looking after people, and you've got something playing on the back of your head that something's happening at home. So
well, I think talking to people, the recurrent theme seemed to be how would you feel later on if you felt like you'd got the priorities wrong?
Yeah.
Prioritizing career over family. Somebody said, I think that the most clear that was ever said, nobody ever lay on their deathbed and said, I wish I'd gone to work more.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, the answer was simple, need to get back to the family. Obviously there was a chance for them to move up to the islands, but when our extended family were down south anyway, Northumberland and Leicester, it was making supply lines so much further. Children were happy in Aberdeen. Let's come back to Aberdeen.
You've got a young family. You are not from the island. I think it's difficult that if you aren't from that island environment, born and bred, to bring up a family in that environment, you need to be a special kind of person.
Yes. That's. I think you put your finger right on it there. Yeah.
So to have that support network close by, even if it's only just 2-3 hour drive away, without having to jump on a ferry or a plane, you need to do that.
Well, I think what's helped as well is we found ourselves in one of the friendliest places we've ever lived. Little village outside of Aberdeen, and they've really welcomed us in. and that's helped. There's a lot of young families there. My wife is happy. My children are happy. So,
Yeah.
why would I do anything to upset that? And now, obviously, working back in Aberdeen, I can take them to school one day, and I can pick them up from school the next.
Yep.
It's
You
really
can see the base from your house
Yeah.
almost.
yeah. They're probably tired of seeing me fly past now. Oh, Daddy, you're disturbing the class. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So how did that go, leaving Bristol's then and leaving real SAR, or like what everybody expects to be the ultimate SAR job in the UK?
that's interesting because it plays on my mind a lot. It's nearly 2 years since I left. That was the job that I always wanted. And after getting it, I then voluntarily walked away from it.
Yeah.
And I think about it an awful lot. And with time, hopefully, I'll be more and more confident or content with my decisions. What is helping is the fact that where I'm working now is incredibly friendly, very professional, and the future for the outfit looks very positive. What have we got? We've got new aircraft inbound,
2 brand new 139s.
state of the art, with all the sensors that you would expect for a search and rescue operator, and with a person at the helm who's very interested in the broader picture as well.
Yep.
So who knows over the next years where that will lead, and that is, I think, very exciting.
Yeah. Our new 10-year contract with these aircraft, goggles as well,
Yes,
which is going to be a game changer for us. Yeah, exciting times in the unit.
it really is.
Big development changes.
And
the personnel have changed quite a lot, even in the past couple of years.
yes,
The staff that are rotating through the unit.
there's a real nice mix of experience, isn't there? We've got military, we've got civilian, and a lot of new blood coming in, which is, I think, always good overall. For experience levels, anyway.
And there's opportunities as well for us, like you're involved in bringing on ISAR into the unit. So if you want to get involved in secondary duties or an alternative role, like I did flight safety officer, and it's like you can do those sorts of things within the company.
We're probably that sort of character that needs to be busy, have a project on the go. If I'm busy, I'm very happy. The ISAR projects, we've got landing sites projects on the go, because obviously new aircraft, we're going to need places to go do our training, and as that remit grows, we need more areas to do that. So that is very exciting.
Yeah, and you'll eventually get your right-hand seat command.
Well, that fourth bar, that
heavy shoulder fourth bar.
Yes. If I allowed myself to think, what would I really like? If the family are happy and that's the priority, then professionally, then what could be bigger than to command a professional outfit, to lead 3 other people in a state-of-the-art helicopter? That's got to be the ultimate, I would say.
And this contract, like I said, like 10 years we've got just about to start. What's the future going to be of search and rescue helicopters in 10 years' time? You know, it's like that's going to massively change. I suspect crew change helicopter flights are going to change over the next decade. But like, where is our industry going?
That's a huge question to unpick, because what is unmanned technology? Where's that? What direction is that going? We already know that on the south coast, drones are detecting small boat crossings and persons in the water. I think for a search platform, drones are excellent, with certain limitations. I hope that they'll still need people like us, Andy, to do the physical, the heavy lifting, as it were.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not just a grapple on a drone. We should be fine for another 10 years, and we'll be retiring at that point anyway.
Well, that's it. The kids go to the arcades and play those games and pick up the teddy. It's probably that's the place to go training.
Yeah, that's the next generation. SAR crew. Okay, mate, you've had a good career so far, but it's like, if you to pass on any words of wisdom to anybody that's wanting to get into search and rescue, because there's different ways of getting into it just now. It's like you've got the winchman background, you've got the pilot background, so like, what's your nuggets of information you'd pass on?
Well, for anyone that would want to listen to what I've got to say,
Yep.
then say thank you very much, thank them politely, and keep moving forward. That was the single game-changing moment when I realized that I could just keep going. And if that avenue was a no, then I tried a different one and a different one. And that's what I'm trying to tell my children now, you know, that you can do within reason. You know, I'm not telling them that they can all be astronauts, but they can all achieve what they want. And funny, it was actually going to Sunborough every couple of weeks, walking through Aberdeen Airport. There's a staircase,
Mm-hmm.
and on the part of the steps that you can see as you walk towards, there's a quote. And I think it's Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And it says, you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. And I think that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Some people say it's cheesy, but when I look
You
back,
love a bit of cheese, but
I love a bit
it
of
is
cheese
powerful.
because that's how it's played out.
Mm.
When I took that first flying lesson, I couldn't possibly hope to think how it would end up. But I thought, you know, I'll just start that. And if I get through that, if I do A, I'll do B and C.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and I think, I don't know where we're going next.
Yeah.
But I'm not seen enough to think, I'm not worried about that. That'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
So, and somebody else, if we're going to do quotes, Duncan Bannatyne, he was on the radio, Dragon's Den, but he was on the radio, Radio 4, Desert Island Discs, and he was asked about regrets. Did he have any regrets in life? And his answer was really interesting because he said, there are things that I've done previously that I'm either not proud about or I would have done differently. But given that everything I've done up to today has helped me get to where I am today, and because I'm happy, how could I regret anything that I've done previously? And I thought, wow, that's, yeah, you know, if there is something that you're having difficulty getting over, maybe for me, the whole thing with the Coast Guard,
Yeah.
then maybe if it just helps you assimilate that information and be at peace with it.
Yeah, I think it comes back to almost what I said at the beginning. It's like you're making your own luck.
Yes.
You're not lucky. It's like
Yeah.
everything that you've done in that whole story that we've just talked about
Yeah.
has got you to where you are today. But if you hadn't taken those missteps or sent that text message to the camp boss or phoned that woman that told you no,
Yeah.
you maybe wouldn't be here.
Exactly. So if anybody took anything away from our conversation, that, you know, I'd be super chuffed if somebody said, you know what, I'm going to give it another go, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just dig out, keep going.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. Cool. One last question. If there's anybody that you think could have some really good stories that I should get on the podcast, who would it be?
So do you remember me telling you that I did my training with the guy from the back of the Nimrod?
Yes.
Jonathan Bitt is his name. Lovely guy. He's no longer in search and rescue. He's now flying for British Airways A320.
Okay.
First officer, based out of Gatwick. And I'm sure he would love to have this conversation. And I'm sure you would love to listen to his stories.
I want to get his stories of you.
Oh, no. Oh, I might have to pre-brief him on that then. But
okay. Right. I will get his contact details and we'll see what we can do.
And you maybe get some first access on some cheap flights.
That would be nice. Yeah. Or maybe just fly down to Gatwick and do the interview there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good man.
Okay. Pete, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
I've really enjoyed that, Andy.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
very
been
much.
good.